Hey y'all, so I wanted to make this quick little intro while I'm editing the video. Um, I planned on this being a how to make a red velvet cake video for y'all, but it ended up being a fail. Um, I also want to note that I've made this cake, I don't know how many times, countless times, to perfection. But I also have to take into consideration that I have not made this cake in almost 2 years. So it definitely did not turn out as I planned it. However, I still want to give you all some content and just, have a moment where I laugh at myself because, honey, this cake came out looking a fool. It tastes great at the end of the day, but it came out looking a straight fool. So I just want to let y'all know that. And if anything, still use the recipe. But baking is a very precise art, and you have to be exact with your measurements. And somewhere in this, I was very much so off. So, with that being said, enjoy the video. Bye bye. Hello, everybody. So, welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a red velvet cake recipe for you guys. It's my grandma's recipe, and I also got some tips and tricks from Stovetop Kisses as well, just to better improve the recipe. But it's been a staple in my family for a long periodically time, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I genuinely don't know how long this video is going to be, but yeah, so here we are. So this will be the ingredients that you'll need. As you can see, the majority of my ingredients are name brand. That is the secret to this cake. Is that my grandmother definitely like emphasizes the fact that you need to use almost name brand everything in this cake recipe just so that it can turn out the best that it can. I call myself trying to do this with like Great Value and store brand things, and it just was not hitting. So I learned my lesson. I forever will always use name brand. Another difference is that I use Swan's Down cake flour, not all-purpose flour or any other brand of cake flour, but Swan's Down cake flour. I swear by it, and it's the one that my grandma always used. So that's what we're gonna use today. So that is that, and let's go ahead and get on to the video. All right, so first we're going to start off with our wet ingredients. We're going to have our vegetable oil in here, and I'll make sure to put the ingredients in the description box below. Then after that, we're going to add our eggs, 2 eggs to be exact, and at room temperature. You can use any type of egg that you want. I use brown eggs for any other cooking, so those are the eggs that I am using. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and add the vinegar. Followed by the vanilla. Not vanilla flavoring, but the good vanilla. Y'all know what I'm talking about, that good vanilla. Followed by the red food coloring. You can also do the whole bottle if you would like. But I'll have the ingredients for the red food coloring as well. I don't know if I filmed it, but I also added my cocoa powder. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to also add the sugar to this as well. Even though it's my wet ingredients, I like to add those two to that. It just mixes better for me, and that's how I was taught. So that is how I do it. And once you get all of your sugar in there, you can either use a handheld or you can use a KitchenAid. It's up to you. And you're going to go ahead and get this all blended together. Make sure not to over blend your cake. You definitely just want to get it to where all of the ingredients are mixed in with each other. So I'll say no more than a minute to a minute and 30 seconds to blend this all out. So once you have that blended, we're going to go ahead and switch bowls and move over to our dry ingredients, which is going to include our flour, our baking soda, and our salt. So this part is completely optional for your flour, but I like to sift my flour just so that you can get all those rough bits out, as you can see, and it gets your flour a nice smooth consistency. And you'll see that in your cake, but you know, it's still absolutely optional if you want to do that or not. And unfortunately, goodness, I was working with a half cup measuring cup. I didn't know where my cup was, so that's why this process was taking me so long. But yeah, this is only supposed to be 2.5 cups. So if it looks like I'm putting a whole bunch of flour in there, that's why. So we added our salt and also added our baking soda. So I just got a spoon. We're just going to mix all of that together. Not heavy mixing, just kind of folding it into each other to make sure that the salt and the baking soda is folding into the flour. So now we're going to bring back our wet ingredients. And what I like to do is I like to layer in the flour bit by bit with my buttermilk. It's just a better mixing process. And like I said, that's the way I was taught. So don't fix it if it ain't broke, honey. And then you're just going to add your buttermilk in bit by bit and blend that in to your wet ingredients. And I do this part about 2 or 3 more times just so that I can get everything in there mixed evenly. And this point in the video, I really thought, I'm saying, I'm doing a good job. Even though I hadn't made it in so long, I thought it was real cute. But y'all see. Y'all will see. Alrighty, so we have everything blended at this point. I know that process seems a little long, but it's worth it. And I just added a little bit more red food coloring. Like I said, I should just added the whole bottle because that's just what I'm used to, but yeah. And I just blended that up in there a little bit more. And I pushed down the sides as well so I can get every bit of cake that I could, honey. No cake goes to waste. No cake left behind. Okay? Okay. All right, so now we're moving on to spraying our pans. Make sure that you get all in the crooks and crevices, honey, so your cake does not stick to the pan. The worst thing that you can do is have a cake that's stuck to the pan. So just get it sprayed nice and good. Then you want to go ahead and add in your cake batter. I use my half cup just so that I can get them as even as possible. So I would just do 2 cups per pan, and then I go to another pan and do another 2 cups, and just kept on going like that until I was out of batter. So I'm using, alrighty, so once you have all of your cake batter in your pans, you just want to get them nice and leveled. These pans are 9 inches, but they're a bit taller than what I'm used to baking with. But I just went ahead and went with it, child. Go ahead and get those into your preheated oven for about 22 to 28 minutes. Sorry, y'all. I literally did the icing and everything off camera. I'm trying to really get into the mode of this recording while cooking thing, and child, just give me some time. But this is 2 sticks of butter, 2 packs of not sour cream, Jesus, cream cheese, and 6 cups of powdered sugar. I had to double up my recipe because my cakes were coming out a little thin, but I'll definitely put the recipe in the description box below. But yeah, this is how it's looking. So let's continue. Alrighty, so now it is time to ice our cakes. So as you can see, I have them wrapped up in plastic wrap there. I got that idea from Stovetop Kisses. Basically, that's used to sweat out the cakes, which makes them a little more moist. I did that off camera, so my apologies. But that cake layer right there, hunty, was moist, honey. It was delicate, nice and tasty. And I did put a little icing at the middle of the cake plate just to keep it in the middle and keep the cake nice and steady. So the icing came out really good. It was nice and fluffy. Definitely leaving the icing, well, not the icing, but leaving the butter and your cream cheese in the refrigerator before actually making your icing definitely makes a difference. I know some recipes will want you to let your butter and your cream cheese get a little room temperature. But what happens is when you do that is that your icing can be a little melted or thin. And it doesn't have that whipped or fluffy feeling or taste to it. So I definitely recommend leaving or keeping your butter and your cream cheese in the fridge until you know that you're about to make your icing. So here's the second layer. Now the first 2 layers came out perfect. They were very moist, very decadent. This layer was super moist. I don't know. I have it all on my hands, as you can see. It was so moist that the cake started to actually peel a little bit, like crumble, not crumble, but like peel into the icing, which is fine. I mean, that's not going to make or break the cake at the end of the day because I had hella icing. So if I needed just to put some more back on top of it, I could have. Just so that it could still have that cream cheese looking finish to it instead of like the red dots. But like I said, you could have rolled with that as well. It would have tasted just as great. But as you can see, those cake layers are a little thin. So that's when I made another batch. And honey, this is where everything goes downhill. And damn, daddy. Okay, we can fix this. We can fix this. And we fixed it. Lies! Lies! Oh shit. Oh shit. Damn. No. It's spitting. So, as you can see, my cake completely split on me. Like, I don't know where I went wrong. I definitely didn't measure something out right when I made the second batch of cake layers because the consistency was off, the taste was off, everything was just off. Like, it's splitting down the middle. I was just very much so confused. And look at me trying to save it, child. Look at me think, oh, I'm just gonna put some icing in the middle. That's gonna save it. It's gonna be okay, girl. It's gonna be all right. It's not gonna be all right. Look at that mess. Look at that. I mean, it's continuing. I'm just, my hands are all out. I'm like, what is happening? It's like splitting. It's splitting into 2 at this point. Oh my gosh. I have never, y'all, I have made this cake so many different times. I was just very appalled with myself. me trying to scoot it together, honey. The icing looks good though. But that cake layer is a hot mess. It's a hot booty mess. And I'm just trying to fix it, honey. I'm just steady going with my icing. Wasting all that good icing on that bad layer. Dang. Look at all that icing just sitting in the crack of that cake. Y'all. If I had to see it, y'all got to see it too, child. We all make mistakes, honey. And then I had the gall to bring out the other layer, like it was gonna be different. Like, who am I? Now that layer was cute. That layer was, but it was significantly smaller than the rest of the layers. Like, I don't know what I did. Like, I genuinely don't know what had happened. Like, look how much smaller that cake layer is to the rest of the cake. And that's why I said at the beginning of the video, you have to be very precise with baking, honey. Baking is definitely a science. You can't just, do what you feel. I'm going to add a little bit more of this and less of that. No, you got to follow the recipe or you'll end up like me. Because I don't know. Those last two layers did not just come out right at all. Child. You can't say I'm a quitter, child. I was persevering. I said, I'm going to make this work. This gonna come together, come hell or high water. Man, oh man. That is crazy. I'm just looking at this cake in confusion. Like, what is happening? I also think an issue with this cake for me is that I decided to make this cake after working an 8-hour shift. And I was dead tired. But I did not want to spend my day baking the cake on Thanksgiving Day. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to bake this cake the night before so it's ready to go. I want it to be, fresh. I didn't want to do it the day before this day because I didn't want it to be stale or anything, and I want it to be as fresh as possible. But I made this cake tired, and that's probably another reason why I came out looking all types of slaw, honey. But what I eventually ended up doing is, I didn't do this on camera, but I eventually just ended up taking off the last two layers of cake. So I literally deconstructed the cake. Like, I took off the last two layers of cake that were my second batch, and I just had this little teeny cake, which came out to be very good. It tastes great. It really did. But I had to let those other layers go, honey. The taste of those other layers were just not good. I did something wrong, and I just was asleep at the wheel. And it happens, you're someone who makes something often, or if you've made it often, you haven't made it for a while, you kind of lose your touch a little bit. So I kind of lost my touch, but it's all good, honey. You live and you learn. But the people who ate it liked it and enjoyed it, so that's all that matters. And it looks pretty. I mean, it don't look bad. I just know what my best is, and this just was not my best. But thank y'all so much for watching. I'll definitely have to do another video redeeming myself because I know how to bake this cake, okay? Hunty, hunkles. Yes, I love me some Latoya forever, honey. But listen, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment, okay? Make sure you click that notification bell so you can be updated on when I post new videos. But I'll see y'all in the next one. Love ya. Bye.